Time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with us. First of all, I need to start apologizing because we've got a technical problem with my Outlook. Whenever I send an invite, it creates two parallel meetings. Our IT team has been working on it for 2 weeks now, and they've been in touch with Microsoft. It is a known fact for Microsoft that teams in Microsoft like to duplicate Outlook. So you are receiving Outlook invite and Teams invite. Unfortunately, not the same link. So I confused everybody, myself included. We've got now Anya sitting in the other room and telling everybody that they are in a wrong room and sending them over here. I've got Alex and Alistair with us as well today, double-handing me. It means doing double jobs. In case then I drop off, Alex will take over. Alistair will take over. And if any problems with Professor Francesco presentation, then hopefully Alex will be able to upload it and share the screen. So enough of apologies on myself, on my part, and apology from our president. Mark is actually at ISSS today in London speaking, therefore he was not able to be with us. However, I spent some time with Mark last week, and as far as update from him is concerned, new standard drafting committee met for the third time on Friday. The work is progressing very well, and I think we are on time, which means we should be able to deliver something to you meaningful very shortly. Hello, Dirk. You are probably in the other room, which I apologized for, and yes. Anya sent you over here. I'm really sorry. I hope this will finish as soon as our IT guys discover how to avoid that. I'm really, really sorry for that. Okay. So drafting committee is doing very well. Now, if you remember, a few weeks ago now, we were talking about SMI, Ship Management International. And because we've got our 30th anniversary coming up, we would like to invite you to participate. Our team will be getting in touch with you asking for articles, but will also be asking for some sponsorship. So stand by there. We will be in touch. Be aware that InterManager in November will turn 30 years. And some of you have been already contacted because you were our president. So I believe you will be contributing as well.
I can confirm I put in my contribution yesterday.
You are such a gentleman, Dirk. Thank you. And Alistair, have you been contacted already by our team?
Yeah, I copied Dirk's. They just sent me it as an example. No, I contributed to that last week also.
Very good, excellent. Thank you for that. Now, medical supplies of oxygen. I have been asked by the suppliers, actually the organization which provides our feedback, provides the information and orders for us, asking kindly to place orders. I understand we are getting those orders from you, but not everybody is there. So obviously not everybody has to do that, but whoever is, could you have a chat with your procurement teams and ask them to go with the supplies as directed by Mark? It would make our life much easier. Yes, Claude, I see your hand up.
Yeah, Kuba, just a question. So we are checking with our owners for their approval. So what is your deadline for putting the group order?
No, I don't think there is any deadline. We don't want deadlines. We don't want to push people. I have been asked to remind you not to drag, but I explained precisely what you told me. Then it's not up to us. We have to go through the hoops of managers and owners and so on and so forth. So I think I will be double checking that, then I'm not porcupying you, but there's no deadline as such. So as long as you are on the case, then we are very happy with that.
Okay, well, we'll be ready in a few weeks then. That's fine. Thanks, Kuba.
Thank you. Now, another update from me. Yesterday, I sent a pooling resources message with 4 new documents. As you can see, these documents were drafted by ICS. It was a collaboration work of many NGOs, Intertanko, Intercargo, InterManager, and so on and so forth. and ICS kindly agreed to be drafting for all of us. Therefore, please check. This is for you. This is our work. Many of our members contributed. Therefore, I'm extremely pleased. Thank you for that. Really appreciate your help and assistance with that. And I've already mentioned 30th anniversary. You will see more and more on this one shortly, because we really want the 30th anniversary to be something. Another update from Mark, now only very fresh off the press today. Mark was speaking at different conferences, and he is calling for more discussion and collaboration between associations. I think this is what many of us have already pointed out to me, that InterManager is not part of round table. And you are giving me a stick sometimes, saying, Kuba, get on with it. We really need to be part of Big Five. The only problem we've got, and Mark realized that now and is talking about that two others, is that those five which are creating roundtable are owner organizations, and they don't necessarily like to see the managers participating. Mark is taking a very strong stand on it, and I hope we will all support him, because I believe more than better, and as an industry being represented not only by owners and their agents, but also by ship managers, and probably more importantly, crew managers, is a very important thing. So any questions on that? As you can see, I'm flying through agenda. Nothing more from me. Therefore, I would like to move on to our guest speaker today, Professor Francesco. Francesco, are you able to share your screen, or would you prefer me to do? I would like you to do that.
I can do it. Let me try.
Yeah, very good.
One second, it is not this.
Very topical presentation. If you remember our discussion about medical oxygen on board.
1 minute, 1 minute. 1 second. Let me do. Okay, should be ready. Oops.
That's it. That's it. Very good.
Okay.
Yes, Francesco, I'm muting myself. No, we are seeing your email again. We need to be in PowerPoint, Francesco.
Yeah, 1 second. I will retry. 1 minute, 1 minute. In general, this system works perfectly, but today apparently no. Let's see one. Okay.
Now we've got a black screen.
Yes, definitely. I see. 1 minute. Now?
We can see it.
Black screen.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Very good. Yes, we see it.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, perfect. Have you seen the presentation?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, when you want, I can start.
Please go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for this kind invitation, and it is for me a pleasure to be with all of you today for sharing our experience about medical assistance at sea in the age of telemedicine. I'm Francesco Menta. At the moment, I'm the president of the International Radiomedical Center, CIRM, which is probably the maritime telemedical assistance service with the largest experience worldwide in terms of patients assisted aboard the ships. You have to consider that we assisted more than 115,000 people on board of ships, so that's quite a large experience. We started our activity in 1935, so there are at the moment 86 years of activity of our center. It is my main activity, professor at the University of Camerino, and at the moment I'm the dean of the School of Medicinal and Health Product Sciences. But let's go on the key point of our discussion of today afternoon. In general, people living ashore may have access to medical services within a short time. We know that the same is not true on board the ships, being ships at sea for days or weeks before they can reach a port. And on the other hand, the majority of ships don't carry doctors or adequately trained paramedic personnel on board. In this situation, the best possibilities that we have is provision of medical assistance via telecommunication systems. Formerly, this kind of approach was called radiomedical advice, radiomedical counseling. Today is telemedical. Of course, we should also guarantee the health information of people with duties of medical assistance on board. And finally, it is important that we have adequate supply of drugs, medical instruments, and so on board the ships. What the situation at the moment? Injuries and illnesses at sea, who is in charge? A medical officer is in charge of the patient. On land, dedicated medical centers are available to give advice. Of course, for doing a good job, doctors need the best possible information about the situation to treat. The medical responsibility, according to the current regulations, remains with the captain. And let me to express my emotion from a doctor point of view. It is a very strange situation, as I have never seen the patient, and probably I never will see him or her. The doctor rarely will talk with the patient. There are no global systems for personal IDs of seafarers, and the doctor in general has no knowledge of the previous medical history of the patient. So this is a situation in which delivery of medical assistance can be not easy. The current practice, in general, there are consultations when there are problems, not for simple situations, and it is not positive. In general, the first contact is an email or a telephone call to the medical center. We have the description of medical condition that, of course, coming from people inexpert is not precise. Depending on the knowledge of English, we can have misunderstandings of the accents. We can have differences in taking medical measures, kilograms versus libras, degrees Celsius versus degrees Fahrenheit, and so on. And from an emotional point of view, there is an incredible stress from the side of people asking for medical advice, as they can feel themselves alone in the ocean. Then there are the follow-up contacts. They are done primarily by email. It is not always easy, for instance, do this, maybe there should be some confusion. And another point is this one, the preferred system for the request of medical advice is email, but email is by definition a non-protected system, so that we can have the medical center may recommend the treatment on board, to disembark the patient at the next port of call, to reroute to the closest port, and then to arrange a medical evacuation by helicopter or speedboat. Okay, so the point is this one, requests of medical assistance from ships in general continue to follow the same procedure used probably 100 years ago. Just the simple description of symptoms. And now there is a little bit, there is some improvement, as in general ships, depending on the affected area, can capture and send images. But definitely there are no telemedicine in general, no telemedicine systems that would represent a very, very important contribution to improve the quality of medical assistance at sea. And there is also another point. People in general, expert in medicine, should be guided for presenting a request as much as possible precise. This will allow the doctor to make more quickly a diagnosis, to start immediately the proper treatment. And in this respect, so it will represent an important help for the ship side when a request for medical advice is sent to the TMAS. In this respect, we propose the joint venture to the ITF Trust, and they generously supported our project. And the project was to create a software named Marine Doctor. This software has been created based on artificial intelligence. We have put together 40,000 requests of medical advice. Our artificial intelligence systems picked up the most important information, and then we have developed the system in which, for instance, I have a deck, perfect. I have abdominal pain. So the software helps with questions the ship captain to prepare an appropriate request for medical advice. This can be definitely useful in terms of remote symptom check, for making proper teleconsultations, and for allowing the TMAS doctor to telemonitor the situation. The system, how it works, the captain log in the system with the provided credentials. The captain will register the details of the seafarer. Then, based on the guideline provided by the artificial intelligence system, the captain generates a medical request. For instance, you have abdominal pain, where it is located, and you see a photo. Put a flag here where your pain is located. I have a deck. Perfect. It is on the right, on the left, where it is accompanied by nausea, vomiting, and so on. So the request is generated, and it is submitted by the doctor, who receives a mail notification from the ship that there is a call. The system, to bypass the insecurity of emails, the system works in a dedicated area in which the doctor can assess the medical request, replies with diagnosis and treatment, and so on. The ship captain receives the information, and then he will go definitely for following the doctor instructions and so on. So it is a new computerized system, and thanks to the artificial intelligence, the situation can be followed more precisely. But we have also something more. This is certainly a first step to support people from the ships to prepare adequately detailed requests for medical advice. But we should consider that the potentialities today are much, much more. A Thomas doctor can assess a patient in person, even if not on board. We can, using digital medical devices, we can gather vitals, monitor progress, view external lesions, capture images of skins, and whatever we want. Availability of these devices really will take telemedicine a step further. This, for instance, there are some applications of telemedicine. We should go behind the simple description of symptoms. We can have a video conference. Look at this. There is a sort of primordial electrocardiogram transmitted by radiotelegraphy in 1938 to our center. But look at these skin lesions. A simple photo can help very, very much for identifying the problem, for having it diagnosed, in case also with the help of a specialist, and then to give a proper treatment. We had an injury, and thanks with this, we were able to guide the medication of the lesion. And this is what we call, as a joke, the Rolls Royce of maritime telemedicine. It is a solution developed by Cirme Servizi. Cirme Servizi is a startup of our center, which is the mission of which is to develop technical solutions for helping the ship side in medical assistance at sea. We see that we have a waterproof case containing a PC or a tablet, depending on the preferences. Then we have an electrocardiogram machine, a blood pressure, a spirometer machine, blood sugar machine. Then we have a dermatoscope for focusing on the skin lesions. And this is an otoscope for checking from the external part of hers, which is the solution. This is a balance, and this is an electronic phonendoscope. It is an extremely sophisticated system in which the doctor, via video, can guide the captain to hear, for instance, heartbeats, pulmonary rumors, and so on. And what is recorded by the captain is sent to the doctor immediately as an MP3 file. And in this respect, the doctor then can say, okay, you are not in the right position, move the phonendoscope on the right, on the left, and in this situation, definitely we will have really, I can visit a person in the same way that I would have him in my office, hearing his heartbeats and so on. Okay, so this is the future, and I hope that ships will be aware about the utility of these systems, and that these systems can enter on board the ships. Thanks to the ITF, we were able to introduce the artificial intelligence in medical assistance on board ships. Thanks with this, finally, a real telemedicine can enter on board the ships with incredible advantages. What we need today? Today, technology, there is the CIRM building, and all of you are heartily invited to come to visit us and to see how our doctors work for protecting the health of sailing seafarers. But today we can say we need more facilities for working better and for providing which are the milestones of modern medicine also to seafarers. Modern medicine has two important pillars: precision medicine and personalized medicine. We can do it, we can offer it also to seafarers, but we need for it adequate technology. Today, technology offers incredible advantages to treat accidents or diseases on board. But what we need? We need more health technology on board. It is available. It is not so expensive. It is really affordable. We need training of people also versus these new facilities. And we need also a greater awareness of potentialities of telemedical devices with a proper education and training in this direction. Today, we have still the idea, it is our daily experience, that in general, okay, but sending the patient to be seen by a doctor ashore could be better. In some cases, yes, but not in all the situations. Also, if we have also to consider this one, that the quality in general of port doctors is probably not particularly high compared with the quality of doctors working in very big, very large hospitals. But thanks to this technology, we can have a network of specialists ready to give their advice. And the final advantage, I think, will be extremely important. It is all from my side, and once again, thank you very much for your invitation and for your attention.
Francesco, excellent. Thank you. Before you go, I've got a few questions. First of all, how many ship managers or customers do you have already, or maybe number of ships having your system on board?
Okay. Let me to explain. We have at the moment we have two types of services. One, which is the basic free conventional service, which is provided free of charge, and we have a contribution from the Italian government for supporting us in this activity. The point is that technology increases the costs, but budgetary problems of the country decrease the contributions of that. It is then for these systems I have shown for the telemedicine systems, the advanced telemedicine systems, we can't afford to offer for free. So we ask a contribution from the side of the ships. We have at the moment approximately 450 ships equipped with some of these solutions more or less advanced. But let me to mention something from which I need your help. We have a Marine Doctor. Marine Doctor was developed thanks to a research grant from ITF Trust, and it will be available free of charge for all who want to use it. So I will be very, very pleased if you can give a hand to us for spreading knowledge about this system. As of course, the optimum is to have all these facilities I have described, but independent of it, if you are able, today happens this. I have a patient with a fever 39 degrees Celsius. So what can I do? Of course, from a doctor's So there is a loss of time. In case of serious problems, this is really negative. So let me ask, there is this, or this. And so there is a loss of time. In contrast, with a more precise request, we can identify the disease much more easily, and therefore really we can start proper treatment as soon as possible. As one point is this one, which is a key point in this situation. A key point is this. A more precise diagnosis allow me to be more effective, to intervene earlier, with an incredible advantage. One point to persuade the ship captains is that telemedicine is not the poor relative. And then you help yourself. If you have difficulties, you ask for medical advice, but the optimum is to have the patient seen by a doctor ashore. Today we have the big problem that doctors ashore are not so available due to the COVID problems and so on. So this is really a big problem, but telemedicine is not the poor relative. Telemedicine is if properly used, of course, with the technological support. Telemedicine can help very, very much. Let me just, to conclude this, the answer to your exciting question, appendicitis, for instance. If you call me at the beginning and you allow me to make a proper diagnosis, now I can treat appendicitis without surgery, with proper antibiotics. This means that when you will be in your port of call, of course, a person with a previous appendicitis attack should be hospitalized and should be checked. But also the surgeon who will approach this seafarer will find a cleaner situation, not compromised, with an incredible advantage. So I think that all of us should do, if you agree, of course, a lot of efforts to persuade people that telemedicine is effective and should be used more and more.
Thank you, Francesco, for that. And I'm opening the floor. Any questions, any comments from the floor, please? And meantime, I'll ask one question. How many equipment do you already have available? Should any of our guys come and say, I need 100 ships equipped with your lovely orange box? And then, Alistair, I see your hand. Francesco, please.
Okay, we have our premium, we call high quality telemedical service with some technical advancements. We have 450 ships and we have approximately 170, 180, I don't remember exactly the figures, but this is this range, ships from CMA CGM. The cargo ships from the CMA CGM, they are equipped all with the orange boxes. And you have to consider this one, that just for giving you the impact also in financial terms of what can be served with these systems, we were able to exclude COVID on board of 3 ships, thanks to the facilities plus COVID tests and so on done under our supervision. And we were able to avoid the stop of 3 ships At that time, quarantine required 14 days, so you can imagine the advantage of this kind. But beside this, we save lives. People are more happy. When it is possible, we ask to work by video conference. We want to see the patients. It is not for disregarding the excellent activity of captains, but also from a psychological point of view. As if ever seeing the doctor in person who is treating, it is like to have him or her just on board for working for solving his problems, which is, I think, from a psychological point of view, there is an incredible advantage. People are more confident that the situation is under control. You are not a number, you are a person, and as a person, you need the best assistance possible in the situation that you have.
Thank you, Francesco. Alistair?
Well, first of all, can I say to Professor Amenta, thank you very much for a great presentation. And speaking from experience, I'll say definitely ship's masters are not doctors. And a serious medical emergency on board ship is one of the most frightening things that you can have. So without a doubt, telemedicine is the way forward. And it's the way forward from a social and welfare point of view. You mentioned commercial advantages. Of course there are, but I think they're obvious. But I think actually if we're able to give this sort of service to our colleagues on board, it shouldn't be an option. We should be doing it. So my question is, I mean, how does this actually work? Do you purchase the orange box and then take a license out for the software, or do you purchase the orange box and then deal with CIRM in the traditional way? So my question to you, Professor, is how does this actually work in practice?
Okay, yes, we buy the medical devices. Of course, they are available in the market. We put together all the systems, and it depends on the requests of the company to provide less or more equipped case. In our experience, it is happening this one. In general, people start with the more simple. In general, electrocardiogram, spirometer, blood sugar, and blood pressure. But then when they see the advantages, then they want to extend. We buy the devices, we collect in the box, and a software, it handles this system, and this software is a proprietary software of Cirm Servizi, our startup, which is dedicated just to the development of these new technological solutions. But we have many of these solutions. We have young people working on this, and definitely we are handling of ship pharmacy, collection of medical history of patients, several activities depending on the needs and on the requests from the ship company, from the ship side. For the service, we have at the moment we have two independent systems. One is the basic, in which ships having just the minimum ask for medical advice. For these others, I have a team of 25 specialists. As for instance, if I have a chest pain, there should be the doubt that it is a heart attack, and in this respect, a medical evacuation as soon as possible is necessary, or we can have just an intercostal pain, in which, so no problem at all. For such a reason, I need two things: electrocardiogram and heart attack markers. You have to consider this one. Don't think that these markers are so expensive. I think that with 40 euros, we buy 20 of these quick tests that can be done with a drop of blood. So that can be done very, very easily in this respect. Really, but the cost of all these facilities, it's really, you have to consider that the maximum of Orange case, some others didn't like Orange and they have black cases anyway. The telemedicine case, it costs the most equipped less than 5,000 euros, so that it is not impossible service. With the network of specialists and so on, there is also a cost for the service, but you have to consider that the maximum, including all specialist service and leasing of the system, costs less than 15 euros per day per ship. So that I think that would be to offer 1 cup of coffee to the 50% of seafarers per day. So it is not really a big deal. But independently, for people who don't want to afford the costs, extra costs, or for people who want, we have the basic service, and we are confident. Cuba, if it is possible, in another occasion, we would like to show with the creators of this system to make a drill about marine doctor, which is really something. We worked 3 years for developing marine doctor, and is another approach that will be available for free, that really can help very, very much the ship side in the provision of medical assistance. What we need really, we offer different solutions depending on you. You can have the cotton shirt, you can have the silk shirt, depending on what you want. So this is something absolutely, I think, absolutely different and flexible.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
You are welcome.
Francesco, by all means, we'll take it offline and I'll talk to you, because I think there is an interest, I can tell. So we will get back and we'll talk. Meantime, I'm watching out for the yellow hands. Anybody else? Any questions, any comments? Francesco, that's it. Oh no, here we go. Khalil. But you're okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kuba. I have no questions. I just wanted to thank CRM. They have done a tremendous job helping the seafarers, and I have lived it many times through our company also. So the mere fact that the seafarer knows that there is somebody else, somebody on the other side of the line, I think it is just mental health. It helps them to go. So we don't thank them enough. I think, Professor Amenta, we on behalf of the seafarers that I deal with, thank you very much for CRM. I just wanted to say that.
We appreciate indeed.
I'm extremely proud as well whenever I'm out.
We lost you, Kuba, I think.
Cuba was frozen from a technical point of view. We should defroze him.
Kuba, we've lost you. I don't know if we're going to.
Okay, now it comes out from the fridge. Okay, Kuba, you were frozen. We were safe. Again, freezing.
Yeah. Alistair, should we go ahead and call the meeting?
Yes, well, let's do it. Kuba is frozen. Well, I don't. Are there any more questions from the participants? No. Well, I can only endorse what Khalil has said. I think on behalf of all seafarers in the whole industry and everybody present, is a big thanks to CIRM. And I agree. Just the comfort of knowing that you and your team are there is a great advantage to our colleagues on board. I think the presentation was excellent. I think in whatever form, telemedicine has got to be the way forward. And you're absolutely right, Professor. You've saved lives, and telemedicine will continue to save lives. Kuba, I don't know if you're back online, but I think you covered the agenda very, very well. I'm glad you covered it quickly, because I think it's probably one of the fullest presentations we've had from a guest speaker. And just thank Professor and thanks everybody for their attendance. And Kuba, if you're not cryogenically frozen, we will ask you to give the final word.
No, and I can only say, Alistair, thank you. We had a plan B, as all managers would always have. So thank you very much for picking up and hitting the ground running for me. That's all for today. Thank you. Watch out for hopefully one invitation next time. And we will be, okay, hold on. Alex is trying to tell me something. Alex, go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
No, okay. So thank you very much, everyone. And I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Watch out for one invitation only next time. See you guys. Bye.
Stay well, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Stay safe. Bye for now.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Alex, the recording is off.